has ever seen.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Women's Centre Inspiring Woman. We've got a great morning this morning with Heather Bannister, and we're going to learn more about Rose Cottage and, of course, her website, her Facebook page, Come Sew With Me. First off, I'd like to say I'm very proudly dressed by Dress for Success once again. To those that actually voted, I have got my nice scarf on. It's more of a coral pink, so it's really great, nice flash of colour. Thank you all for joining Mel's page on Facebook and actually voting. It's really good and great to see your comments. Keep them coming. I also would like to thank our sponsor, Vicky Simpson from Professional Real Estate. Without Vicky, we wouldn't be here. So, Vicky, we really appreciate you supporting us, and it's great. So, go to the webpage of Professionals, check out Vicky Simpson, and see what open home she's got this weekend. She may have the new home just for you. Heather, welcome.
Hello.
So, Heather, you actually started Rose Cottage, but we're going to go back one step further. You have actually got a passion for sewing machines.
I sure have.
So, where did your passion for sewing machines start?
Well, I've liked to sew for a long time, but it was back in 2012 when I'd just got the quilting bug and just happened to meet a friend who I had before then not known at all, but she came along with her husband to visit my husband, muso thing, and she got dumped and left to talk to me, and we ended up, I found out that she liked quilting too, and so the next time she visited, she brought a lovely vintage Singer hand crank machine that she said, this is for you. And so that was the beginning of it all. I loved that machine. It was wonderful to use. It was I just fell in love with it. And from then I thought I would like to try a treadle machine, and did, and bought one. And then I kept seeing these lovely machines everywhere I went, whereas once upon a time ago I wouldn't, and they all needed loving and looking after and saving, and so I did. And being a good old-fashioned Kiwi, I learned how to look after them and get them going.
So tell me, your passion's now turned into like a museum, and
yes,
you've had so many different machines donated and sent to you and from all around the place. How many machines do you currently have done at Rose Cottage?
At the beginning, there was like 120-ish, and now I think we're closer on to 300. I've had to take a few home.
So when you go into Rose Cottage, you just get to see like an old museum of old machines. I walk through and I'm like, oh, I remember sewing with that with my nana. So the old treadle machines, they're wonderful, aren't they?
Yes, they are beautiful machines. Yeah.
And you've got a treadle or a couple of treadles that are actually in use now in your Rose Cottage as well.
Yes. We have Graham from our council, who is one of our councillors. He actually brought me his great aunt's machine, which was sold in Masterton, and has travelled all over New Zealand and come back to Rose Cottage, and after being used very much through the generations, and then finally it was sort of set down in the parlour, and covered over with a plant pot on it or something like they generally are for just on 60 years or so, and brought to me, and within a few hours I had it working again, and it's a beautiful machine. So that's the kind of stories that come along with some of the machines.
Each sewing machine has their own story,
Every
doesn't it?
sewing machine has a story.
Each sewing machine has a history because they've been somewhere, handed down through generations using them, made a lot of quilts on a lot of those treadle machines, because back those days that's what a lot of them were used for, the quilts, the clothing, everything like that. So tell me, you started with your passion, but how did you start Rose Cottage?
That was all with the help of the dream brokers, the urban dream brokers. I was contacted one day by Annika, who was working with the dream brokers, and she said, I heard that you may have something interesting and innovative to, fill an empty space with. And I thought, yeah, I might. And we got together and started looking at empty spaces, most of which couldn't have been used because they were earthquake prone. And we ended up at Rose Cottage, and I took one look at it and thought, oh, I love that place, but it's off the beaten track. And then I went back again. I thought, I love this place. It didn't matter that it wasn't on the beaten track. And it turns out that it actually adds so much, yeah. So
much character to your place. So there's a daily routine with your lot that come in. I love coming down to have morning tea with you guys. An informal chat over a scone and a cup of tea, the old-fashioned English tea. It's really great. So that's your morning routine down there?
Yeah, more or less. We'll walk in and cup of tea, and if I've got the scones made, yes, we've and just chat and then sooner than later somebody will say, oh, I want to get sewing now. So off we go.
Yeah. And the daily routine is actually really the important side to the people that come to you, is the social contact and the connection.
Yeah, there is a lot of that.
Yeah, which is really important, because that's sometimes where a lot of your planning's actually organised, what they're going to do for the day. I've been down there and I've heard them talk about different things. I know Vanessa Maxwell has been talking about her doll's house that she was doing, and I've been following it on Facebook, what she's done at King Street Arts Centre, and then she's brought it along into Rose Cottage. That, I think, is amazing. So, it's really the old-fashioned Queen Anne legs and everything like that, and the old sort of padded stuff. So how did you really think about the idea when you originally started? Did you ever expect it to get as large as what it is now?
I don't think I really knew what to expect at all. At first I thought that I would display my machines, people would come in and look at them, and there would be the odd person who would, like to learn how to use a machine or want to make a thing. I actually had this weird idea that on quiet days I might be able to do stuff for myself. That hasn't happened, but really, it's just become so much more than that. There are people come in and they're there at the beginning of the day, and some people come in like for the whole day, every day, because this is their happy place, where before that they didn't have one, or they didn't have a choice. And there are people that just pop in, they see the sandwich board signs, and there are people that have seen things happen on Facebook and they've been watching, what's going on in a tree. Other people are told by word of mouth, and we've had the odd radio show, which has been great, and every time there's a newspaper article, that always brings a few in. But I've had people that have come from London and America, Australia. Some have just been happening to, on their travels, walking through the park, or they hear about it. And others have been watching us on Facebook and listening, and heard from others that have visited and think, well, one day I'll go to New Zealand and I'm going to go to this place, and they have, which has been really, really special, to have that kind of. We have, I think the youngest who has sewn, well, we've had very young coming in with their mum, but the youngest who has sewn was a little 3-year-old.
Oh, wonderful.
And the oldest to have come in was 92, and she was just absolutely delighted, because everything reminded her of just wonderful memories. And we have school children often come in during the holidays, and that last hour in between the end of school and our closing, and also, yes, in the holidays, and when we have our Saturday crafternoon, which is the first Saturday of the month from 1 to 4, we'll often get young ones in then. Some of them who have come in and at first they've never seen a sewing machine before. They've come from a family of like 3rd generation non-sewers, and it's they just go hyper on the excitement of it all. And then they go home with a thing that they've made, and their family are amazed. We get people that have come in and they say, "Oh, this is so lovely. I just want to, have a look around and see what you're doing, but I can't sew because I'm no good at stuff like that, and I don't have imagination." And this is things that people have told them, right through their life, and now they're 40, 50, whatever, 60, and they've gone this far thinking that they can't do stuff. And generally before they leave, they've made a thing. And so all that bad, feeling self-doubt, it's gone. It's gone.
Built
and
self-confidence, which is really
it's a beginning of a new... So no, I never realised that all that would happen, but it happens on a daily basis, and it's quite exciting.
I can well imagine, and it's a talent and a skill that's actually been lost in New Zealand, so it's great to see an opportunity for it to come back.
Yes.
And it's really great to see that young ones are able to learn, and I really enjoy seeing the mix of age helping each other out down there. Absolutely,
and cultures too. It's huge. We have a few Dutch women coming in, Maori, Samoan, Chinese. There's right across the board. You mention it, and we have those lovely people in, and often all at once, and it's just a lovely mixture.
So you got a really lovely homey feel down there as well.
It is.
It's a really great feeling. It's a calm, relaxing feel. So people that are actually dealing with anxiety and that can be quite good, because they can calm down and actually then start making something, which is important as well. So that's really good. It's really exciting to hear, because I've seen the start of this Rose Cottage, and it's really been amazing to see it progress. But right now, we're just going to go across to ABBA, and I'm sure that used to be one of your favourites, Heather.
Oh, absolutely. I can remember dancing to ABBA.
Okay, well, we're going to be dancing around the studio, guys. So here we go. We're going to be going to ABBA Dancing Queen.
With a bit of rock music
Welcome back. It's been a great chance to talk to Heather Bannister and find out what's going on down at Rose Cottage. Personally, I've not been down to sew, but it's on my to-do list, my bucket list, to you. So we've got on, the Women's Centre has got on our Christmas Women's Breakfast on the 6th of December at 7 a.m. It's actually going to be a great morning. We've also got Mel from our Dress from Success come along to do what not to wear, and I'm just going to quietly do a plug. Mel's sitting in the studio today taking our photos for us. Mel also was in our fashion show last week for Valentine's. We had a fantastic night at Valentine's last week. Our models came from Connecting Communities through to Dress for Success, Tiafina Youth Group, right through to Crisis Pregnancy, and even our own committee, Literacy Aotearoa. We actually had a great night, and I think it was so hard for us models to decide what to buy, because everything we put on was actually looked so amazing. And it's great to be styled by somebody else rather than actually wearing the same old clothes. So of course, as you know, I'm styled each month for my clothing, so it's good for Mel to also be styled and have some more ideas. So I'm sure Mel learnt a lot that night as well. So, but we're going to get back to Heather right now. Heather, the daily routine at Rose Cottage is actually really, we spoke about it quietly before. That time to sit down and chat, that time to connect for people is so important.
Yes. It's kind of my favourite time too. Although it's quite often, we'll be sitting there and chatting and laughing and going over, just various things that the ladies, and not only ladies, sometimes we have men and boys and children and everything right across the spectrum pop in, and then we'll be sitting there and somebody will walk in, a member of the public, and pop their head around and they'll, oh, hello, I didn't want to interfere with your cup of tea. No, come on in. And often they brought something along with them. We get a lot of donations from the public, which are really special. We get a lot of, sometimes there'll just be a few spools of thread and some fabric pieces and bits and bobs. Sometimes it'll be like a great hoard of stuff where people have been collecting all these marvellous treasures and decided that that's it. Or sometimes somebody has passed away and the family they just don't know what to do, and they're so grateful to have somewhere to bring all these special things that bring them so many memories, but that they just have no use for it. But to know that there's somewhere that they can bring these things, that they will be used and appreciated, it's quite good. And there's amazing how many people it'll give us something special, even a wonderful old machine, and say thank you so much, so that we didn't have to take it to the tip. And that's where I just have to swallow my shock and say thank you very much. But yes, that's getting right away from your question, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
That's fine, because
it is
I tell you
wonderful.
what, you actually currently have been working on, it's your time to the community. You've not been a charitable organisation. You have donated so much time to the community that it's great that the community recognises what you do and actually giving something towards you to continue on the services down there. And I think to everybody who's, whether it's one spool of cotton through to actual material, I know the Women's Centre donated a lot recently.
Sure did.
That it's good to be able to donate and know that it's going to be used in a good way, that it's going to be used for people that actually need that help and support. So it's really fantastic.
Yeah, and on the charitable status thing, we are like just a wee bit away from becoming a charitable trust, which something that we needed to do in order to be able to get ongoing funding so that we could carry on paying on all our bills and being there for people. So that's one thing that'll be coming up soon, and I'm just thankful for the opportunity for that. We've had help from the Rotary Club and from some of their members who the Gibson and Shett lawyers who have given of their time to be able to help us to get where we need to be, and all our wonderful supporters. So
that's great, because there's a lot of businesses out there starting to see that there are services in the Wairarapa that's needed.
Yeah.
And it means that if they've got a client that they can refer to.
Well, that's right. We have like the wool store. Lovely Yvonne from the wool store has been very kind, and donating some of her own personal sewing patterns and bits and pieces, and that's great, because we can then send people back to her, and the Evans Fabric Store have been very kind as well, and Carpet Court, and very, very kind in giving us their samples, which have been absolutely wonderful, absolutely, really helpful, and in turn we're able to, we're bringing up a whole new generation of people who can sew, and they're going to utilise their services as well, and so we're all helping each other.
I think that's fantastic, because you have so many groups that come down to you as well, and be known to, like, even for the brownies and those sorts of things, families who are struggling, not to be able to pay out for an activity is really great for them to come in, but to learn so much from it. So you recently, I saw on Facebook, you had some brownies down that did aprons.
Yes, we had a brownies group, and they came and made aprons. We've had a few birthday parties, which have been very special. We've had just this week, just this past week, we had children from a school come in, and they had a wonderful time. Ponatahi.
Right.
They came in, and each week we get children from Makora brought in, and there's a few other organisations. Pathways will often bring clients, as well as the idea services people, and some of those clients who were in need of extreme personal support on an ongoing basis have, through coming to come sew with me, been able to then, because of the support that they've got at the cottage, they've been able to let their other supporters go. They've been able to sort of like come to the stage where, they were no longer in need of them.
So
not because they weren't getting support, but because their support was, different. And they have become more independent because their self-worth and has just shot up, and it's given them more belief in themselves. And so, like, these are just the unknown quantities that we'd never expect,
Exactly. You didn't realise that sewing would actually help somebody's self-confidence.
That's right.
Self-confidence is actually knowing you can achieve.
And it's also having the lovely old machines, which are just so wonderful to use, and a lot of them, they go a little bit slower. That the treadles and the hand cranks, you don't have to worry about putting your foot down and losing a finger. There's this, and they have this lovely rhythmic quality, which is beautiful to use.
And it's also that hand and eye coordination that's coming in so much. There's so many things. A lot of people think you just sew a straight line, but you don't. You're working it different ways, and being able to do it with the hand one, you can do it at your speed.
That's right.
And that's what's so important, is these people able to achieve something no matter what speed they've got.
That's right.
They keep coming back and they keep working. Some of the stuffed toys that you've been doing is amazing.
Oh, hard case.
The right characters is what you'd say.
Absolutely.
The real characters. Through to the quilts. Some of the quilts that have been made are just amazing down there.
Yeah. We've had wedding gowns and ball gowns worked on. We've had a lovely man came in who wanted to just make a workshop outfit for himself, so that he could work on his his wood turning and metal turning without getting little bits down his neck and up his sleeves and things like that. So, and all sorts of things have been made. It's just well, everything from pincushions right through.
And of course, you have bags and that down there for sale.
Lots of bags being made. Lots of bags, yeah.
So if you're looking for a great Christmas present for that person that is really hard to buy for, come down and see Heather, because there's an opportunity that you could get something for her.
Well, you could buy a bag that somebody's made, or you could make one for yourself.
Exactly. Yeah, no, Heather's place is a little wee treasure trove. I love going down. I love looking through the shelves at the different coloured materials. That really attracts me. But what really attracts me to Heather is the amount of time she gives to the community. A lot of people have not realised that Heather's not actually in a paid role. This is actually for love.
Yes.
And Heather has loved all the people that have walked through that door and has given so much. And I think that's actually really something fantastic, Heather.
Thank you, Kim.
A lot of people are always now after that dollar and wanting that dollar. And for you, who's given so much time, every morning you're down there early, you're cleaning up, you're tidying up, you're there late at night, sort of sorting things out. You help people effortlessly about actually, they might just want help with something, making something, and you just take the time with them. And that is an amazing quality in this busy world, that somebody sits down with you and just takes the time to maybe even help thread a needle, actually help with a design and a plan and work things through. So, Heather, from the community, we'd love to thank you so much for your time that you give.
Oh, thank you, Kim.
Because at the end of the day, if without Rose Cottage, there'd be even our committee members always go down there. They always come back talking, especially the steampunk girls.
Yes.
They're always talking about their outfits they're making.
Yes. Oh, I love it when the ladies the steampunking ladies, because they come in and they have just these amazing ideas, and they generally will have an item that they bought from the op shop, or several items, and they'll want to jazz them up or make something amazing. And just when you think, wow, well, how could you even do that? They do it somehow, and then when you think it's done, they'll think of another thing to add to it, and just the amazing things that you just need to look on the Y Steam page, and you'll see on Facebook, and you'll see these every now and then. There'll be a page down, I made this, it comes so with me, and I'm so proud of those ladies.
Yeah, it is. We're going to go to Dire Straits' Walk of Life, and we'll come back and we're going to talk more about those steampunk ladies, because one of our committee members has made something special recently to go away to a steampunk function.
Yes.
So we're going to come back and talk about that. Right now, it is Dire Straits' Walk of Life.
mean only trouble and the strife. You do the walk, yeah, you do the walk of life. You do the walk of life. Ooh.
Welcome back. It's great to have you back to Inspiring Women this morning. We've got Heather from Rose Cottage. Sorry, Heather, I was going to say come sew with me. I've got confused on that one. But first off, what's on with the Wairarapa Women's Centre? We've got icing nights. We have got Christmas icing cakes decorating on this 27th of November. We've only got 2 spaces left. Now, I've actually had women that have booked in months ago because they missed out last year. So don't miss out this year. Book in your places. And on the 12th of December, we've got what we call the mini Christmas cakes. And this is a chance to increase your skills with scrolls and doing more smaller stuff than actually the bigger fondant. So come along and join us. Remember, you need to register prior to the date. So give me an email at wairapawoman@extra.co.nz and I'll send you all the bank details. We've also got on Wednesday, we've got the Older Woman Network on at the centre, so check out the events page. And the next day, we've got social support. So if you're looking for something to come and do, come along and join us for that. Heather, welcome back.
Thank you, Kim.
So just before the break, we actually were talking about steampunk and how wonderful steampunk is because they're bringing in that old-fashioned sewing back in and the old-fashioned dresses. But you've got a great afternoon coming up with steampunk.
Yes, we do. On the 7th of December, which is coincides with our usual Saturday crafternoon, where we're open from 1 to 4 on a Saturday afternoon. And the steampunk, the Y Steam Steampunk Club will be coming along to have a look at the machines, and also at 2 o'clock we'll be putting on a wonderful, weather permitting, Devonshire tea out at the front of the cottage, and it's going to be wonderful. There will be scones and jam and cream and all the fancy cups and saucers and teaspoons, and there'll be steampunkery from here to breakfast. It'll be just lovely. I always love to see the lovely women and men that come from the Steampunk Club and all the amazing creations and the things that they're wearing, and it'll be a wonderful afternoon. Yeah.
I went to a steampunk ball last year. And it's the first time ever that I've got involved in anything like that. And it's just so fantastic because a lot of their clothes are layered.
Yes.
Multiple layers. I had a skirt on that was 3 layers involved in it. And then, of course, you have your busty ears, which you can put stuff on and underneath. But it's just so amazing on how these people take the time to decorate their dresses, and the men in their jackets, all the braiding, all the buttons. It's just absolutely amazing.
Yes, and the cogs and the gears and the amazing sort of like mechanical operated thingamies, you know, all mixed in with it. It's love to see it.
Exactly. And one of our committee members, Millie Olk, is actually big time into her steampunk. She's currently away at the moment at a steampunk function, but Millie made time to actually make something special before she went away. What was that, Heather?
Well, among all the marvellous things she made this wonderful Victorian bonnet. And the pattern that she got was actually taken from an original Victorian pattern. And it was actually not the easiest thing to follow. We kind of had to use our brains a bit because it used a lot of Victorian sort of like ideals and that we were supposed to have buckram, and we didn't have buckram, so we used the more modern stiffening instead, and it really is so beautiful. She specially ordered fabric from Spoonflower online, and it came along, and we added some vintage lace and other bits and pieces, and it took a long time to make, and there was lots of unpicking and
so
and
the actual bonnet itself was like the one with the head and then the little ruffles. Well, it was actually pleats at the back, through to over the top with the tie. So the real old-fashioned bonnet. It just looked absolutely gorgeous.
It's absolutely beautiful, and just wondering how on earth she could take it, because she wouldn't be able to stuff it in her luggage. How she would be able to take it on the bus and in the train. And I think, well, you might just have to wear it. So I'll have to ask her if she did that.
So check out Heather's page, Come Sew With Me, because there's actually pictures up there of Millie with that.
Yes.
I was really taken the day that I saw it. Like you, I'd actually been explained on it coming forward and each step of coming through. So it was really fantastic to see it finished, and really fantastic to see her take a challenge on. For Millie, that's actually really fantastic to take a challenge, and seeing her self-confidence and her well-being in the finished article was actually more amazing than actually the article, because it just raised her self-esteem, it raised her self-well-being, and that's what we're all about at Women's Centre, is actually well-being and empowering women. So you in fact do a lot of empowering down at Rose Cottage as well, which is fantastic.
Yes. Well, we're kind of hand in hand in that, aren't we? It's very lovely.
So if you got time, come on down to Heather. She always loves seeing you. Plus also she's got this very unique miniature sewing machine collection. Would you like to talk about that, Heather?
Yes. Well, I was getting a bit mixed up when Kim was first asking about it, because I have the small toy machines, and then which our grannies and great grannies may have used to make their dollies' clothes, and then there's these tiny little collectors machines, and very small, some only as small as your thumb, and some maybe a little bit bigger. And we were sent most of those by a lovely man in the South Island whose mother had passed on, and she had collected these throughout her life, and they were all in lovely cabinets, and they had known that they needed to be passed on to somewhere special that the mother would approve of. And when they saw the TV program, The Good Sorts, that we were featured on, and we got one of many messages and emails straight after it finished, actually, and one of them was this lovely man saying, would you like to have these machines? We would like you to have them, because that would mean something to us, that they would go to somewhere precious instead of being in the garage.
And they are precious. They're very precious.
Oh, they're beautiful.
They're absolutely stunning. But you yourself currently have a beautiful pin-on of a sewing machine. Can you hold that up to the camera? So if Heather talks as well, you'll be able to see it as well, because it flicks over by the camera.
Yes, that's one of my. I'm a bit of a shocker for watching out on the Trade Me, and this is one of the little things that I've seen and thought I absolutely needed.
You can't actually really see it there at the moment. We might take it off shortly.
Need to take it off.
So it's actually a lovely black enamel one, and it's got little diamantes on around it.
Yes, because it kind of gets lost. I'll hold it up against my hand so you can see it against something.
Come a bit closer to the camera and you might be able to see.
There we go.
So that is something that's just absolutely brilliant. There's so many brooches around, but to see something like that actually is your passion is just so brilliant.
Yes. Oh, thank you.
So, there's all different things going on down at Rose Cottage, and one of them is your craft afternoons. You talked about it being in December, but you're going to continue that through in January. What are you offering over school holidays?
Yeah, we've been doing that right from the word go, because I used to have what I called crafternoon when even before we opened up at Rose Cottage, the Come Sew With Me Museum. And I ran that from the Baptist church, and people could come along and have endless cups of teas and make gorgeous things, of all ages. And so when I started at Come Sew With Me, that just carried on, but at the cottage. And so that's an ongoing thing, and that happens on the first Saturday of every month from 1 to 4, and everybody's welcome to come along. And
that's awesome. That's great, because quite often it's good to bring your children and do something.
Although in between Christmas and New Year's up to the next week, I'll be closed then. That's generally the one we miss.
Awesome. We're going to come back shortly and talk to you more about what you got for the holiday program and how people can come in. But firstly, before we go, if you're thinking about buying your first home, then contact Vicky Simpson. She's our fantastic sponsor. She's at Professional Real Estate. If you want to give her a call on 0274 462 839 for advice, that would be really fantastic. Vicky's actually a rather friendly person that was actually willing to go and help. She's a young mum and a young family herself, so she knows where you're coming from. So take the opportunity to give Vicky Simpson a call. But right now, we're going to go to ABBA, and it's going to be a good one for Heather. It's called Rock Me. Welcome back to Inspiring Woman. It's been a great morning talking to Heather. But remember one thing, we've got our breakfast, Christmas Women's Breakfast on the 6th of December. It's really going to be a great morning. We've got of course, our Dress for Success, what not to wear. But it's a great chance to come along with your friends and workmates and enjoy a celebration for Women and Christmas food. You know, we are going to have different foods down there. We've got some really fantastic sponsors coming on board, and I can tell you now the food's going to be delicious, Mo. So, Heather, welcome back. The holidays for you are going to be a big thing because you close from the 25th of December through to the 6th of January. After that, when are you open?
Well, every weekday from 10 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon, right through.
So do the kids need to come with a supervisor? What age do you have them unsupervised?
That really depends, on whether they need supervision or not. If they need supervision, then they need to have a supervisor.
Right, so
and if they're okay, on their own, then that's fine too.
So for parents that are thinking about what to do for their kids, it's always a hard one, especially when they start getting to teenage years. They never want to go to holiday programs. I'm in that stage with my son. He's 14. Holiday programs are a no-go.
Fair enough.
And it's really hard to think of something, but I think the Rose Cottage is really fantastic. Something, if you've got a day off, take the kids down with you and do something as a family. I think it's really important.
Yeah, that would be lovely.
So there's different things that they can do down there. They decide what they're going to do.
Yeah. Well, there's often, if they've never sewn before, often the first thing, because it's really important, to be able to, the first time a person is sewn, to be able to make a thing and complete it, and to be able to go home and say, I've made a thing, instead of I've started a thing, They need to complete something. So usually a pincushion or a little bag or something is generally the first thing that a person makes, but they can choose the fabric. We've got plenty there, and decide what to make. Sometimes it can be quite busy, and there's only one of me, so sometimes people need to, just be a little bit patient, but it's worth it. And there's always a cup of tea and a scone and jam and whatever you happening in the kitchen. So,
and that's great, because that's a good opportunity.
Even just coming and having a look at all the things that we have, it's a real history lesson. You're just seeing what things were used and how things were made, and just often kids are just quite like, wow.
I think the bags are really important for the kids to do, something to take these school books, or even just now that, they've always got bags, they've got PE gear, they've got the reading books, so it's always nice for them to make something that they can take and show their friends.
Yeah, and something completely not like anybody else's, something that they can put themselves into, that they can add something to, or just, find a print that, is like them, whether it's dinosaurs or kittens or, whatever.
That's fantastic. So last year, this wonderful lady, Heather, got actually nominated for New Zealand of the Year. She's been on Good Sorts on TVNZ as well. And you got nominated for New Zealand of the Year, but you ended up winning Local Hero. Would you like to talk about that?
Yeah, well, that was a bit exciting. And it was, really nice, because I was nominated by just a regular person, who's seen what I've been doing. There was no input by myself, not something like, oh, I wish I could be, this marvellous thing. I wish I could have a medal. I wish, people would see me. It was like just me doing my thing, and people have seen and appreciated, and then thought, oh well, we would like this for Heather, and that was actually really special. And so I ended up getting this chunky shiny medal which sits on the mantelpiece in the kitchen at Rose Cottage, and it's just more special to know that people thought that much of me and appreciated the things I do to want to nominate me than to actually got the shiny thing.
To see the admiration of the women that come into your centre is just absolutely amazing. I always love coming down and sitting down and having actually a cuppa and chatting to them and finding out what projects they're doing is just absolutely really enjoyable. I try and call down every couple of months just to see you guys. Of course, it's always at the cup of tea time.
Well, generally.
Yes, always at the cup of tea time. You can't go past the scone and cream.
You did know, though, that it's actually always cup of tea time. So if you turn up and it's not, and it's like in between 10 and 12 or, 3:30 and 4, you could still have a,
I thought you were a soy place, not a cup of tea place.
Oh, well, you can't sew on an empty stomach. You can't sew thirsty. It's just the rule. So it goes hand in hand,
No, that's wonderful. And that's a wonderful atmosphere that you have down there. And I think that's why so many people are attracted to coming to your area because you have a lovely, calm, you look after the well-being of the people, the being able to do things to achieve and actually stop and listen to somebody. Whether it might be actually how they can actually finish a project, you stop and you listen and you talk through it. And it's great to see you do that. I've seen you so many times talk through. Some of them have been some amazing characters that have been coming out in the toys. Others might be a creative bag, right through to actually, I was down there one day and Lynn held up her quilt, the first ever quilt she'd finished, and seeing the beaming smile over top of that quilt, to me, was actually realisation of what your organisation gives to the community.
Thank you.
So Heather is always fantastic. She's always willing to help out. Even I've got a mending pile I've got to bring down. One of that to-do list, and it's always great. So check out the Facebook of Come Sew With Me. I'm always checking that out. I'm always seeing what the latest things that you're doing. I always sit there and think, geez, that's actually really fantastic.
Yeah, I actually get messages from people all over the globe, America, China, England, Australia, that's the first thing they look at in the morning, and it gives them inspiration for the day. So yeah,
you're definitely an inspirational woman, Heather. You're a credit to our community, and it's great to see everybody come behind you and support you. Thank you, Heather, for coming this morning. Thank you for being our local hero.
Oh.
And thank you actually for just opening up something that's new and unique, to New Zealand, not just to Marsden, but to the New Zealand. And it's really fantastic. Guys, this is the end of our program today. It's gone so quick talking to Heather.
Has.
It's gone so quick because Heather's got so many amazing stories, so many amazing things to happen. Guys, we're back on in December. I think it's the 9th of December, if I remember rightly. It's the second Monday of the month. And we've got Lynn Patterson joining us next time in the hot seat. So I'm really looking forward to talking to Lynn. Heather, thank you very much. To everybody else, have a wonderful month. And remember, look after each other.